It's 3 a.m. I'm at the wheel of my mom's minivan, and I'm on the 5.5-hour drive to Portland, and I'm on hour 9. Now, you could blame me. I, after all, was the one who made wrong turn after wrong turn after wrong turn after wrong turn. But me, at that moment, I was blaming the woman, the distracting presence of the woman next to me, who was simultaneously, on one hand, my college newspaper friend, on the other hand, my sworn nemesis, and on a third prehensile hand, a woman who my reporter friend, a reporter coworker just told me 2 days earlier wanted my body. I know. I thought that was pretty absurd too. I was 23 years old, and the most lustful thing at that point anyone had ever said about my body was that I kind of looked like Bob Saget. What do you call a person who's like a virgin but for sex? That was me. And look, this friend of mine was cute in like a, chaotic David Letterman era, Drew Barrymore kind of way. And I thought it was kind of hot that she was bilingual. But the fact is that I was a good Christian boy, and she was very much none of those three things. And so and on the third hand, she was the person who came up to me in college and asked me if I would be her nemesis, which I was pretty sure was the exact opposite of wanting somebody's body, because clearly I never ever read a romance novel or Sherlock Holmes fan fiction. You know how naive I was. But back then, innocent ingenue that I was, thought there'd be maybe no problem with me carpooling with my college friend. I was gonna travel with her to Portland to a friend's wedding. We're gonna crash with our fellow newspaper friend Grady. Everything would be fine. So, an hour more of wrong turns. We roll into Grady's apartment, 4 a.m., knock on the door, crash, sleep. I get up, bleary-eyed, go to the wedding. We come back, and we decide it's time we're gonna go for drinks. Now, my coworker's warning echoing my head, I decide I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get water, which is what Jesus would have ordered. Water which is safe, fiscally prudent, innocent, but it underestimated the puckish magic of Portland. This is an enchanted city where Proud Boys fall in love with anti-fascists, where mayors fall in love with interns, and where Cupid moonlights as a radical anarchist who lights the Molotov cocktail of desire, smashes a plate glass window of inhibitions, and sets ablaze the Starbucks lobby of the human heart. So I meet across the bar, I meet eyes with a nemesis, and suddenly there's a shared connection, and we know that we need to get back to Grady's apartment as soon as possible because something is waiting there, something exciting, magical, and maybe a little bit dangerous. And so we find ourselves hand in hand, running back as fast as possible, barely outrunning the blaze of sexual tension that's burning up the whole city behind us. We get in, we crash on the floor, we crash on the couch, we're looking at each other, and suddenly I'm experiencing this power that I've never experienced before, this force that defied Newtonian physics. My entire life, hugs had been painfully awkward, but this was like, you know what it's like when you're possessed by a voodoo doll? Sure you do. It was like that, but for my lips, I'd been hypnotized. It was like there was fishhooks pulling my lips forward towards her. I had almost no idea what was happening. But then there was this still, small, voice inside me, my conscience, barely audible. It was kind of like an alarm clock. You can barely hear it through a dream, reminding me of one single fact. She wasn't. You have a boyfriend. But it was like she already knew, because he had the perfect rebuttal. It is what it is. Now, I was a high school debater, but that was the most persuasive argument I'd ever heard in my entire life. A perfect syllogism, ironclad tautology, X is X, it was what it was. And from that moment, I could feel the good part of me and the Christian part of me dissolve away, leaving just the boy part of me. But there's one single strand holding me back in that moment, is that I had never been kissed. I was the veritable Drew Barrymore of the situation. Do not ask for whom the bottle spins, because it had never spun toward me. And I wanted to have one of the Hall of Fame great first kisses. I wanted to have one of the Hall of Fame great first kisses, and I didn't want to have like a Barry Bonds asterisk for cheating. But I could feel that last strand begin to snap when all of a sudden the door bursts open and Grady comes back into his apartment, bursting through the wall of sexual tension like the Kool-Aid Man. Hey guys! And in that moment, the spell was broken. We head back from Portland to Spokane the next day. She wants to stop on the way for ice cream in the Tri-Cities. And I say, no, it will taste better if we wait. And so we do. We wait 3 days. She breaks up with her boyfriend. We wait 3 days as stipulated by Article 7, Section C of the Bro Code. And then I find myself, once again, with her trying to continue what we'd started in Portland. We are going to officially, for the first time, do a kiss. I head down to Peaceful Valley Park, a place where there's the Spokane River on one side and there's the Maple Street Bridge above us, the gritty urbanism against innocent nature. And I find myself looking down at her lips, and then mine start to quiver, because all the voodoo magic, all the supernatural Portland topsy-turvy confidence was gone. And I started thinking about the experience gulf that was between us, because she'd kissed people of all races and creeds and genders. Her experience was downright ecumenical. She knew all the kisses, French kisses, all the kisses, French kisses, Eskimo kisses, Inuit kisses, butterfly kisses, ear kisses, air kisses, Judas kisses, Hershey's kisses, the Sicilian smooch, the Belgian hickey, the Transylvanian neck nimble. Gene Simmons named his band after what she already knew how to do. But look, I was not entirely ignorant. I had read the Wikipedia article on kissing, and like a good journalist, I fact-checked that against Yahoo Answers, but that was kissing theory. And I kept thinking back to that Mike Tyson quote, "Everyone has a plan until they get kissed in the face." So I decided to go in for the safe, fiscally prudent tap water of kisses. You know, like those Norman Rockwell Christmas cards of an 18th century couple chastely kissing over a babbling brook, like a peck that would not, a smooch that would not besmirch the lady's honor. And so I go in and suddenly I'm there and it's happening and I feel her top lip, okay? So far so good. Bottom lip, just like I read about on Wikipedia. The third lip in between, that's not a lip. Wait a minute. This wasn't Norman Rockwell kissing. This wasn't American kissing at all. This was downright French, and that was not on the syllabus. And look, at that moment, I could have bailed, I could have run, I could have done what I was done so often in the 23 years of my life, where 23 years where I let cowardice deny me the embrace of humanity. 23 years I had been mired in the slough of hesitation, and was hesitation not Hamlet's fatal flaw? And for 8,400 days it had been mine, but it was not this day. This day the courage of men would not fail. This day I would not go quietly into that good night. This day I would not tire. I would not fail. This was my Independence Day. So yippee-ki-yay, like Captain Ahab harpooning the white whale, I spear my tongue forward. From hell's heart I stab at thee. And then it all goes black. Visit the American Museum of Natural History, and you'll see a display of a giant squid in a death battle with a hulking whale. And underneath that, you'll see a plaque that says, Daniel's first kiss. Because that's exactly what it felt like. All writhing tentacles and frothing blowholes and slimy suction cups and plumes of ink and blood and krill, and my lungs are crying out for air, for mercy, but no quarter would be given, because this kiss was not over. And for an eon we struggled, Kraken and Leviathan, each dragging each other deeper and deeper past shipwrecks and crushed depths, past the reach of sunlight and comprehension, toward the mouth of the unfathomable abyss that swallows self and screams back only madness. And my eyes snap open and I'm back on the riverbank. So that was kissing. And I didn't like it. I was coughing and sputtering salt water. I felt seasick. I had the bends. It was like all of these poems and movies and MTV Movie Awards had lied to me about what a great experience this was. I mean, this was the act that was supposed to turn frogs into men, but it felt like Emperor's New Clothes. I was thinking that maybe this was just some artificial ritual that we all do when we actually just really want to get naked. But then she looks up to me with her big green eyes and tells me the one thing that can make me feel better. Daniel, she says, that was terrible. Which meant that I was the problem. It was me. Kissing itself could still be saved. And fortunately, I had an expert to train me. It was like she taught me a foreign tongue using her foreign tongue. So for the next 2.5 months of mesmerizing, infuriating first relationship, she taught me all of the kisses she knew, which was all the kisses there was, but one. And so for the next 14 years, I chased that kiss, having all sorts of terribly wrong kisses with great people and terribly great kisses with wrong people, until just this month, I finally had that last kiss, a kiss that was so great that a whole crowd cheered for me, including my parents. And like all the best kisses, my pastor gave me explicit permission to do it. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter if it takes 10 hours or 14 years to get to the wedding. It doesn't matter what your first kiss is like or the first person you kiss. It's the last one.